So today I'd like to talk about writing a melody over a standard chord progression. Let's take the chord progression G, C, I'm playing a C9 in this case, and then D. And then back to, and stay on D for the last time. And then back to G. So it's a standard 1-4-5 chord progression. And now what the 1-4-5 means is that we're in the key of G, which is this, so that's the 1 chord. And then to the C chord, that's the 4 chord because you go G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the 4 chord in the key of G. And then we go to the D chord, and that's called the 5 chord for the same reason. After C is the 4, D is next, that's the 5 chord. So, over the 1 chord, or the G chord, I can play one of 3 notes. I can play G, B, or D, because that's how the chord is spelled. All 6 notes that I just hit were one variation of G, B, were a variation of G, B, or D. So, just assume if I write a very simple melody, I'm just going to play the 1, and then I'll play, for the C chord, I've got 3 choices as well. I've got C, E, or G. In my case, I'm going to choose the 1, which is the C. This is the very simplest of melody. And then for the D chord, I've got 3 choices as well, D, F sharp, or A. And I'm just going to choose D. So my melody is going to go like this. G, C, D, and then back to G. Now as you can hear, that's a very boring melody. Now, we can spice it up by adding in some notes in between. To make it more interesting. In my case, for the G chord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to arpeggiate the G chord. I'm going to play G, B, D, and then land on C for the second measure. So it's going to go like this. Right there, you can see the melody is a lot more interesting. And then same thing when I go to from the C to the D chord, I can just do the same thing. I can go C, 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 E, C, 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 E, to D. And right there, now listen to my melody. Right there, you can see the melody is already way more interesting. Now, coming back around the next time, I've set up the user expectation. Too many computers. The listener's expectation for me to land on that C after. Now, what if I don't go to the C and I go to the E instead? Now I've surprised the listener, but still I have fulfilled his expectation. So if I go like this the first time, and then the second time I go like this, it's even more interesting yet. So the whole melody now, as you can see, we're starting to take a 1-4-5 chord progression and making an interesting melody over it and something to memorize. Something to remember the piece by.